Cesar Chavez and his legacy, he was a very simple person who came into our lives in the 1960s. My mom was working picking grapes, and Cesar came to Arizona to inform and educate and organize farm workers. And my mom came out on strike to support Cesar Chavez. And so I was a little kid growing up in the midst of what has been an incredible decade in the 1960s with so much movements going on in the country. There was so much activity taking place throughout this country. And it created an atmosphere where people felt a need to speak up and come together and create change. And so Cesar was right in the middle of all of that, fighting for the rights of farm workers. He spent his entire life dedicated to improving the quality of life of farm workers.
It is important for Adelante to recognize Cesar Chavez and the day of service that we are honoring in the month of March as a day of remembrance of why Cesar Chavez dedicated his life and his passion for human rights and for social justice, and to change what our farm workers have experienced in regards to lack of health care, lack of salary and pay, lack of humane conditions associated with their work environment. So it is for these reasons that we celebrate, this individual and our history and our roots as an organization and why we exist today.
He is a legacy in the Latino community, but overall in the American community, because Latinos are part of this country. And he will live on for many generations to come.
In addressing what Adelante should know about our legacy and the ties to the farm working community, it's important for us to know where we come from and how we were founded. When you hear the stories about our creation as an organization, they're inspiring. They are powerful stories.
There was a farm worker who was working in the citrus, and he was part of the impetus that led to the formation of the clinic.
When you hear about a young man who was, unfortunately shot on one of the farms, had to go miles and miles away and had no transportation to our county system, which was, over 50 miles away at that time.
There was a big uproar about farm workers not having access to health care. The county suggested to the folks that they should consider submitting an application to form their own federally qualified health care center. Hence, a year and a half later, the establishment of Clínica Adelante. So the first office of Clínica Adelante was on Grand Avenue in El Mirage. And it was an old building that was refurbished for the clinic. It was really small. You walked in, it had a very small lobby and sort of a front office. And then it had maybe 3 medical rooms. And then it had a small little space for the physician, Dr. Tidwell. He was beloved in the community, and it was a small clinic, but it was a clinic that people just loved to go to because it looked like them, it felt like them, the people that worked there, and more importantly, it provided health care that they needed.
We've now grown into an organization with these large, beautiful locations, and we serve a lot more members in the community, but we still have a focus and responsibility to serve our farm workers. So even though we've grown a lot over the last few years, we still want to outreach to our farm workers and provide them the same care that we do to all of our patients. There's a lot of outreach that we do so that we can build a connection with these organizations so that when their employees or team members need assistance with healthcare, they can trust Adelante Healthcare. Hickman Farms was one of the farms that we outreach to and said, hey, we're here to serve your employees, and they responded to our calls.
Hickman's also takes pride in investing in their employees and respects them as an extended member of the family. So I really think showing the employees that we care about their health and well-being is one of the most powerful ways to express their importance to the company. You know, having bilingual medical support for Hickman's employees will give them peace of mind that they are, that they're understood and receiving the best care possible. And this is going to help the Hickmans in how we address the high, healthcare insurance costs, and will give our employees some relief to know that they have options.
We get to work with our community health team and other departments in the organization to physically go out into the fields and provide these healthcare services to our farm workers where we find them. A lot of our farm workers don't have transportation or they have language barriers, so it's a lot easier for us to take our teams into the fields to provide these healthcare services.
We're just super excited to see how this partnership flourishes. The partnership between Hickman's and Adelante will help establish a trust in the healthcare among our employees.
Connecting with the patients, with the farm workers directly is the best part because there's a trust that you build with this community, and it's the best feeling ever when you know that when they don't feel well, when they need a resource, they can trust to call you and that you're going to respond to the need that they have.
I believe that federally qualified healthcare centers like Adelante Healthcare play an important role in our community and in our country. Adelante Healthcare has played a leadership role, I think, in many respects, providing much needed healthcare services to a population that in the past had not been recognized. And so for me to see that there's a clinic that's being started in my neighborhood and it's designed to target the specific population that I belong to, it resonated intellectually and in my heart. Like that's the place for us to go.